Whatever you want from someone else, give it to yourself. If you want to be complimented, compliment yourself. If your love language is acts of service, do acts of service for yourself and for others too. But if your love language is you want affection, be affectionate towards yourself. Be loving, kind, warm. Whatever it is you seek outside of yourself, give it to yourself. Because anytime we're in a state of lack, we are in a state of longing, we're in a state of wanting, needing, it can turn into something that is desperate. Instead of always trying to get a person to do something for you, get a person to feel something, be the person who is whatever it is that you want. And then I can pretty much promise you that you're going to start to draw that to you. Hey guys, it is Alison. I am the host of your show, Alison Answers Mission Awake. I cannot wait to sit down with you today and go over how we are going to crush the mediocrity in your life that has been plaguing our society since the beginning of time. I cannot wait to have a real deal conversation that includes intelligence, fun, excitement, and real actionable steps to make a real difference in the life that you're living now and making it into something you can be damn proud of and excited to live. Sit down, put on your damn seatbelt, and get ready for the ride of your life. Hey guys, how are you today? It is Alison from Alison Answers and Logger Counseling Services. There's a few things. Today's going to be a solo podcast, and I'm excited to do it because I have a lot of things that I want to say. So one of the things I was really thinking about is like, what is it that I want most in my life, in my relationships? And I want you to just ponder this. Think about yourself. Think about the things that are important to you. One of the things that I have realized, and I've known for quite a while, is that one of the things I value the most is being understood. And what I have found is that when I don't feel understood, I don't feel loved. I don't feel accepted. I feel judged. And it's an interesting concept. And I think we should go further into it because I think it might be able to help you guys and all of us with our different relationships. So let's check it out. So I have this kind of sense that to be understood is to be loved, and to love someone is to understand. So think about this concept. If I need to be understood, what is my first step? Do I then need to seek outside understanding in order to be approved of myself? In that context, that's not the best way to go. Think about it this way. I consider that if I want to be understood, the number one thing is I have to understand myself. So I have to first know myself. I have to also accept myself and do the work or the kind of exploration to understand myself. And when we do that, I do believe that the things that we want in our lives, if we do them ourselves, if we do the thing for ourselves, we will draw people who will in kind do the same. So we very often will say, oh, I understand you. As a therapist, I do understand people. And that is a high priority to me, to take the time to ask the questions, to understand them, to understand what they mean by a word. So very often, if someone says a word like love or intimacy or annoyed or these kind of like broad terms, I will very, very often say, will you please operationally define that term for me so I can understand what that actual word means to you? So the concept of even being understood, what does understood or being understanding mean to me? What does it mean to you? What is it that you value? But the big thing I think we're missing in terms of relationships, because if you look across social media, there is so much buzz about relationships because I think there's always been a desire and a confusion and a longing for love. People everywhere, if you look at from the beginning of time, all songs have something to do with love or heartache or some conflictual experience, emotionally. So human beings are made to connect. They're made to love and be loved. But the term love, I don't think any of us really define that with one another. So with this big buzz about relationships and how do I find my soulmate, you see it everywhere. When I open up my phone, I'm like, whoa, like everybody's talking about it. So in terms of that, I want to talk about something different, but the same. It's so important. Whatever you want from someone else, give it to yourself. Be that, if you want to be complimented, compliment yourself. If your love language is acts of service, do acts of service for yourself and for others too. But if your love language is you want affection, be affectionate towards yourself. Be loving, kind, warm, whatever it is you seek outside of yourself, give it to yourself. Because any time we're in a state of lack, we are in a state of longing, we're in a state of wanting, needing, it can turn into something that is desperate. But even if it doesn't, I have a practice, and I get this from David Guillaume and Kabbalah, is that I do not leave any transition in a state of lack. So if I'm going somewhere to get something, I stop and I say, all that I need is within me now, because it is actually true scientifically. But I'm not even going to get into that. The bottom line is that we are constantly seeking refuge, seeking to be reassured, seeking to be encouraged, seeking to be known, seeking to be like approved, validated, complimented by things all outside of ourselves. It is an absolute amazing experience, amazing to have it right at home within yourself. And that does not mean that you're a hermit or a cat lady at home with a bunch of freaking cats by yourself. And I love cats, so no haters, please, God, about the cat thing. Bottom line is that we want to be fulfilled. And from a place of fulfillment, then we are more fulfilled. It's a very interesting spiritual concept, but the more we have, the more we get. So when I'm approaching any situation, trying to get approval, trying to get understanding, trying to explain, rationalize, bend over backwards, so you're going to get me. How about I take a few minutes, or I take 3 hours by myself, and I ask myself the same question. What is it about this? Help me, Alison, understand you, Alison. What is it that you're feeling? What is it that you're wanting? What is the emptiness? What is it that you're sad about, mad about? What is happening? Because when you come to a place of understanding in yourself, then magically understanding people show up, because you're drawing more of what you actually are to you. And as you know, we draw to us who we are, not what we want. When we're wanting things, we're drawing more of a desire and a want to us. When we're fulfilling ourselves, we're drawing more fulfilling experiences. So some of the things I want you to consider is knowing yourself. What does it mean to know yourself? People are asking that all the time. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. It's not a search. We're not going outside to figure that out. I'd have to go and find myself. No, you don't have to go anywhere. You stay, you embody, you listen, you are intuitive. You let your head, your heart, and your feet all be in the same spot, and you allow an understanding of you to come forth. A lot of times we are searching to find ourselves, understand ourselves, because it is so much who we are is in such opposition to what we've been taught, to what we've been told, to what we've been kind of like isolated in, the way we're supposed to believe about ourselves and the way we're supposed to be, that we lose sight of that inner voice inside. I always ask people, when people say, I don't know, I'm like, you just don't know that you know. Go in, listen to start to notice when your energy rises. That will tell you something about you. Start to notice when your energy lowers, and ask the questions instead of saying, oh God, I'm so down, or oh, I'm so tired, or oh, life sucks, or whatever it is. Instead of that, stop and say, how interesting. That moment just shifted for me. And now I don't feel that same energy. What happened? It's kind of like, when you're little and like you play, or you're getting colder, you're getting hotter when you're trying to find something. It's kind of like that. Kind of notice when your energy and your life force and who you are, your generosity, your happiness, when it starts to get ignited, that means you're getting warmer, warmer to where you belong, who you are, who you belong with. And part of this is a journey. This is a life experience. Being willing, the first step to knowing yourself is deciding to know yourself. The first step to understanding yourself is to decide to understand yourself. The first step to accepting yourself is the decision. I will accept whatever I see. We hide things from ourselves because there's a part of us that doesn't accept it. We also hide people from us by this kind of veil we put over our life that says, I desire this so much, but if I have it, I know I'm scared. A lot of times people will want a relationship, or they'll want a big business, or they'll want whatever it is, a lot of money, but they have all these perceptions about it that will tell them. So like, let's say somebody wants a relationship, but they have a belief about relationships that they somehow, you know, seeped into their heart from maybe their parents or watching their friends. See, it's kind of like this idea that relationships are only adversarial. Relationships are difficult. Relationships remove freedom. I know I had a little bit of that for a period of time, like a resistance to a relationship, because would a relationship possibly remove from me the level of freedom that I love? The ability to just move across the earth, and have fun and just be myself. People will have the idea, and I had the idea too, but it wasn't conscious, that somehow these parts of me would have to be gone if I was going to join with someone else. And the real truth is that, and also, we also have an idea and a feeling about freedom. So if I said to you, I don't know if I want to have a relationship because I love the freedom of just being able to giggle and to go and to play and to do these different things. People will have an assumption about what it means for a woman to be free, and for me, being free just means almost like being young, being funny, being goofy, doing silly things, going out and having a free day, maybe going to the farmer's market or going for a walk in a neighborhood I've never been. It doesn't mean, we put these like hard, dark ideas on different concepts, like, a free woman is a whore, whatever, or a free woman is out there because she's a commitment phobe. No, and these things can block the things we really want. Because who's to say that you can't have a relationship that's fun and goofy and that you do travel and you do the fun things in life? A lot of times people misperceive me as someone who's like this bougie person, which I kind of am. Can't lie. Right now I'm not. But that I like to do nice things and have fun, but I also love to get dirty and go in the woods, So, but the concept is that somehow, if the thing that I love and want, if I have that, somehow I'm going to lose something. And I think that can be an underground world view belief that we have, and we don't even know we have it. If I have this amount of money, it's okay. But if I have this amount of money, I'm evil, And it's like, well, where is the switch? Do you suddenly become somebody who's not accepted by society? Do you suddenly become someone who is greedy and doesn't care? Somehow these belief systems block us from doing, being, and having the things we're meant to do, that we're meant to have, and the way we're supposed to feel on this earth that is also good for everyone around us. Because when we reach our heart's desires and we are connected and aligned with our life's purpose, whatever that is, what ends up happening is that we're more generous, we're more loving, we're more like, I use the word free, we're more like open, because the fulfillment draws others to us and we're open to others. So most of us have been harmed, hurt, we've had bad experiences because that's just being on this earth. We get some bumps and bruises on this planet. But those bumps and bruises, it is so important that we don't take those bumps and bruises and we then close, because closing just causes more bumps and bruises. Opening to the vast opportunities of fun and goodness and happiness in our life, being willing to understand ourselves, accept ourselves. How many things have you not done today? Have you not felt today? Have you not, started today because you believe somehow inside of you that something will be taken away, that something won't work, that someone won't approve? So much of our decisions are based on the approval of others. We don't even know it because it's built into our operating system, in our cells, in our everything that's in us is vibrating with the opinions or what is socially acceptable, social norms. Is it socially acceptable for me to jump around by myself on the beach? No. People be like, what is wrong with her? She's I don't know, she's crazy. But how many of us would just love to do that? We love to just throw ourselves in the pool awkwardly. These are things that children do. Hey, guys, I want to just give a shameless plug of my book. I would really want people to have a good look at my book and to understand what it really is. I used to be ashamed to plug my book. And then I realized, how is that right? To keep the information, the 30 years of experience that I have, the 8 years of education, the trauma that I grew out of and learned how to manage and how to manage emotion, all the training I've had in neuroscience and quantum physics. How can I keep that from the public? So it's not, I used to think it was something I should, be humble about, but being humble is silly when you're keeping things away from people that they need. So what I want to tell you about my book, and I hope that you do get it, because I think it will really help you. I've gotten a lot of tremendous feedback about my book and that it's really, really of great value to a lot of people. And what it is, it's an interactive read, and there's inside of it, there's journal entries. So as I'm teaching and going through the book and teaching you how to create the life you want by understanding how you're wired, how your thoughts, feelings, how your words, how thoughts are things, and the neuroscience behind it, and how we are programmed from the time we're 0 to 7 years old to live a life of mediocrity or a life of poor design because of meaning that we attached to events when we were children that just became our programming. What I want to tell you is that there is a way out, and it's a simple way. It's very simple. I believe in the simplicity and the grace in healing, and that it doesn't have to be a big work. So I would love it if you'd get my book. It's a best-selling book on Amazon, and it's my first. And I encourage you to get it. It's called The Wake Up Call, an interactive read for building the life you want. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Thanks so much for being on the show, and let's get back to it. And this is so important for us to be able to start to widen our ability to know ourselves, to know what means a lot to us. And it doesn't have to be exactly like a career. Oh, I want to do this specific thing. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? How are you meant to feel? Do you think that you're meant to feel burdened? Do you think you're meant to feel lacking and, always looking for something? Think about that. Just think about an animal. If you look at any animal, you could see them looking for something. They're not at rest. And I don't even believe it being at rest because I'm always doing something and enjoying something. But my point is that everything begins. It really does, right here. Everything. We don't meet our maker with the crowd with us. Well, they said I should do this, or this is what everyone else was doing. We're here with one person that has been given to us to take care of, to encourage, to lead, to understand, to know. And that one person is who? It's us. So it's a wonderful responsibility that we have us to care for. And do you want to end your days, even on your last breath, criticizing the one person you've been given full responsibility for from beginning of birth all the way to the end, criticizing that person that was under your watch? So what I would like to say to you, and this is, kind of full circle, is that in the desire to be in a relationship or to have a business or to have anything you want in your life, the first step is to know what you believe and to know what your heart is, who you really are, know yourself, know what lights you up, know what is you're completely repelled to. And instead of trying to win over anyone, anything that is repelling you, how about moving away from it and drawing toward the things that light you up? So think about and ask yourself the question, do I know me? Am I looking for others to know me and then tell me I'm okay? Do I understand me, the way I think, the reason I act the way I do, the things that bother me, the things I love, the things I don't love? Am I looking for someone else to understand me and approve of that? Do I accept me, all of me? Do I accept? Doesn't mean that if you do something or you are something or create a behavior or an action that isn't something that you like, it doesn't mean that you don't accept you. You understand that it's done, and then you make the changes necessary so that then you've utilized that experience, you've accepted it, and now you're going to do things differently. So acceptance is the answer to all of our problems today, really, because we fight the things we've done, the people we've been. How does that help? All that does is reverberate. It's a one long emotional response. Regret just points to your values. So if you regret doing something, that means your value system doesn't like that you did that thing. So it shows the values that you have. But when we continue to a state of non-acceptance, keeps that action or that part of you alive. So it just keeps reverberating. So you're having this like negative experience based on either a moment, or if you're not accepting things about you that you are. So let's say you want to be something totally different than what you're being and doing. But the reason that you don't do the thing or be the person that you are is because you don't accept that part of you, because of anything that's been told to you, things that you've learned about being that. So, I want to go work in a circus, right? So the thing is that, what will everyone think about that? I'm using a very, an extreme example, but think about it. Like, how does someone become something? It's because they know it, they understand themselves, and they accept that part of them, and they accept it regardless of what anyone else thinks, whether other people accept it or not. The key to being accepted is to accept yourself. The key to being understood is understand yourself. The key to being like worthy of anything is to believe it. And also, there's a very, very common thing, I mentioned it in the beginning, is that we tend to block the things that we believe we really want, because there's parts of us that don't really want it. So like I was saying, I think that there's a sincere part of me that believes in love, loves love. I loved being married. I loved my husband. I loved our relationship. So I know it's a good thing. I know that you as a person can have an amazing relationship and it can be great. So knowing that, I also want a relationship. However, there has been, but I believe it's not anymore, has been this feeling inside of me that I didn't even know was there, like a resistance to it, because what if, and that's fear, what if they don't want me to do this thing that I love? What if they, the life as I know it that I've created that I love so much, completely, that I lose that? All these, I didn't know that I felt that. But this is where I come full circle back to, I needed to know that. I needed to understand myself. Because when you're seeking something and it's not seeking you and you're not experiencing the things that you want, whatever that thing is, then you want to understand what is it instead of keep looking at, oh, it's the government. Oh, it's the society. Oh, it's, all men are horrible, which is not true. It's such a farce. And women out there, I hope you're not like buying that lie that it's not possible for you to have something good in your life and a good man. Of course you are. And there's so many good men. There's so many good women out there. And if you're buying the lie that this whole, there's this whole thing out there. I'm trying to think of the word that it is. It's like this whole voice out there now that's pulsing, that everybody's saying oh, dating's horrible and there's no good men, there's no good women, there's no good women in my state, there's no good women in my neighborhood. All this stuff, it's not true. It's what are you drawing to you? Who are you? What are you magnifying? We draw to us who we are, how we act. Take a look at whatever's coming to you. And that is a beautiful image that tells you either what you believe you're worth. So if you find yourself repeating situations, you either believe you're worth that or you're playing it safe. A lot of times people choose people that can't hurt them. It's like a safe thing. Or once they feel an intense feeling for someone else, it feels too big. Where did I just hear this? Jay Shetty, I think. Yeah, he's great. He said that when people meet someone and they have this huge chemistry or whatever, this is the one, this whole thing. He said, I love this. He said that it's not only dopamine, it's also cortisol. So people are experiencing this great chemistry and at the same time stress. So they're experiencing passion and stress. And once the stress subsides, when you get to know someone and you start to feel more at ease, that one part of the joy is still there, but the stressful part is gone. And people think, we don't have chemistry anymore, which is so silly, but it makes sense, right? So when things become safer, comfortable, home, then people are not sure either how to keep things alive or how to understand that this is a natural progression of finding true love or true value in a relationship. And that can be in anything. That can be in any kind of a partnership or anything. But think about that and think about when people, we hear so much stuff, music, a heartache, and people are, oh, it happened again, same guy, whatever. But really, it's ask yourself the question, first of all, is this actual love or is it fear? A lot of people mistake those feelings of insecurity and those intense feelings as love because they're panicking that this person is going to leave or whatever. And they don't give themselves a chance to believe in themselves and to live through the feeling and enjoy life, and I think that's a really common issue for people because to connect with anyone, to understand someone, to be understood, all of that requires vulnerability. It requires getting through difficult times, sharing things that are uncomfortable, talking, and being able to interact and create something together because two human beings, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a love relationship, whether even with our own kids or something, it's building something so that at each stage, it's stronger and lasts. But I think people get too afraid at these vulnerable points and they back out or they get mad or they do something silly because they feel like they can't handle the emotion that they're feeling. That happens a lot, I think, to men too, because being in a masculine energy, which is so beautiful and attractive to women, and that's not bad boy energy. That's real, true masculine energy. Being in that energy. And when a man is then, a lot of times women, get involved with a man and then they try to turn him into a woman, which, then they're not attracted to him anymore. If you try to turn a man into a woman, and then the man is then sharing feminine qualities that at the wrong time or in the wrong way, then it ends up being, it hits the attraction level. But think about this for a moment. If you actually are with a man who is now, you met him, or you met a woman who is in her feminine energy, or a woman meets a man in his masculine energy. And you're attracted to that. And then let's say the woman, when she has like a feeling of insecurity or whatever, if she goes into her masculine energy, right? So there has to be room for both. So at that moment, let's say a woman goes into her masculine energy, that would be the time that a man could balance out and say, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? A touch, a hug, whatever. I just heard someone talk about that and I thought it was cool. I wish I could remember the name to give them credit, but I'm sorry. So now, but it's a beautiful perspective. Now we have a woman who now has, really fell for this person and their masculine energy. And then because of their fear, they start, becoming more of like this kind of like feminine energy that is like, like has like a different vibe. And it's basically, they're not knowing what to do with what they're feeling. So they're having these strong feelings for a person and they're like, whatever. And then it gets wonky. So I think it's super important for us to remember there's so much more, and there's so much more available to us. And if we take the time, instead of always looking outward to try to change that other person, to evaluate that other person, take the time to ask yourself, do I feel aligned with this person? Do I like the way this feels? Who am I in this situation? Instead of always trying to get a person to do something for you, get a person to feel something, be the person who is whatever it is that you want. And then I can pretty much promise you that you're going to start to draw that to you. And then, what's so interesting about it? If you really respect yourself, and it doesn't mean that you're perfect. You don't have to be perfect to respect yourself. You can respect the fact that you want to change things. So let's say you really genuinely respect yourself, or you know that you're in your own corner. What happens then when someone else isn't? You're really actually okay. It may hurt that, you'll have little pangs of something, but the truth is that you always, when you have yourself in your corner and you really believe in your own dignity, like you trust who you are, you can trust yourself, then you can trust that you're okay. And that's what I want to leave you with. I want you to remember to go inward. Stop going outward to solve your problems. Go inward always first. That is emotional sobriety. It is emotional drunkenness to be going outward all the time to find some answer, some solution, something better, some better feeling. It just is not the sober life. So with all that being said, I'm asking you a favor. And I need you guys to do it. Could you please like, subscribe, and comment? Any comment that you leave on YouTube or even it's Instagram or whatever, I'm going to answer you. And if there's certain podcasts or things you want me to talk about, I will talk about anything. You want me to talk about eating disorders? You want me to talk about codependency, alcoholism, drug addiction? You want me to talk about anything? I can talk about it. The thing is here, I want to just make a segue. I own Lager Counseling Services. This podcast is not monetized. We do not make any money on this podcast. I invest in this podcast in order to be of service to God and man. In order to, if I gain any insight in my own life, I will share it with you. And I will try to bring people on who will be helpful to you. And what I'd like you to know is it doesn't reflect in my YouTube subscribers. I really would love it if you guys would subscribe. It would really be a great help. Helps me to get better guests that can help you better. It helps me to do things on YouTube that I'm not able to do without a certain amount of subscribers. And it basically helps more people because there's more visibility. So there are people that won't be interested in this podcast, but then there's going to be people who really will get help from it. So I have 32 years experience as a business owner and as a therapist, drug and alcohol counselor, specialist in eating disorders, specialist in a lot of variety of things, and marriage counselor. And I have a lot to offer and I want to give it. I don't want to hit my grave without sharing what I know. What good is it in the grave, people? So if you would help me, just send out my message. If you have a person that you really believe that this just would resonate with and it would actually help them, don't just send it to somebody who won't help. Send it to someone who you really believe it would help. And that's what I want. Just if it's somebody who this would help, give it to them. Okay? I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and until tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. I just want to say to you that we are all together a part of the Mission Awake, a mission that's going to stop the mediocrity that's plaguing all of us. So if you got something here today, I ask that you would be a part of this mission and you'd share it with whoever you can. Take a screenshot of the show and share it on your Instagram. If you are looking for me, you can find me on social media platform Instagram, Alison Answers, or Lager Counseling Services. And give us a review and subscribe if you could to YouTube, Alison Answers. That's where you're going to get a lot of content. I drop stuff every day, goofy stuff, all different kinds of stuff. 5-minute videos that just get you moving in your day. Have a great week. See you next time.